It's not your concern." Tim looked into the fire raging in the center of the caravan, wondering why. The wagons had been circled and smaller fires burned just beyond. Somewhere in the night, Baugh, Dallin, and the bloodhounds congregated in the dark, patiently waiting for whatever had caused the branch to break earlier in the evening. He had proven himself against bandits. The gods had taken an interest in him. So why wasn't it his concern? At the very least, the wagon master could have let him keep watch from the wagons, but Baugh would not hear it, insisting that he be near the fire with the women and elderly. Even when he had been alone in the woods near home, he had never felt this isolated. Even before he could lift a hoe, he had never felt so useless. Copper for your thoughts. Tim looked up towards a red-haired woman from before. Her lips and eyes were downcast as if he had been sharing in his misery this whole time. I never got around to asking for your name," she said in a hushed tone. "I never caught yours either." Tim replied, "Maybe we could get to know each other now." He knew she was trying hard to cheer him up, and though he didn't really want the company, he didn't want to sit around staring aimlessly into the fire either. You wouldn't know what's going on out there. Tim asked, "Warriors doing warrior things," she replied. "Nothing I care to understand. They will be back sometime later, looking for a hard drink and a soft pair of breasts." Tim could feel a soft heat radiating around his nose. "Tomorrow and the day after they will want more of the same, until we reach Amber Bay anyway. Then they'll want gold and to be on their way. I pity any woman whose legs have been spread already." The warmth sprang from his nose and warmed out to his cheeks. His father had told him about loving a woman, but to hear it so openly and from a woman, his heart was beating faster, and he was afraid she would hear it, and know he had never, or would she suspect that he had and never speak to him again. "They are not like you." Her hand nudged against his. "They have a lover in every town and a bastard at her leg. I don't see that in you, an acre to plow and a crop to plant in the day, a good woman to plow at night." Tim tried to cross his legs to hide what had sprouted in between. His face was on fire and his ears would catch next. He could almost feel the warmth of her breath against his neck and her plush bosom against his chest as he, I need to get some firewood." Before he could stand, his jaw was in her hand, turning his face toward hers. Her mahogany eyes took in his red face, and she giggled as melodically as before. "See, never touch a woman in your life and embarrass as hell that one is touching you now." Reality hit like a stone to the forehead. She had been teasing to get a rise out of him, and now, at the height of her victory, she laughed mercilessly. Tim wanted to become the log he sat on, fading into the bark and the grains like a beetle hiding from a bird. "Young men like you never fail to amuse me." Tim pulled himself away, and in doing so fell over the log, which made her laugh harder. Picking himself up from the ground, he stalked away hurt. This was the worst, left by Baugh and the warriors, not allowed to keep watch with the men, now mortified by a beautiful woman. He left the circle of the wagons and began to pick up fallen branches for the fire, trying to extinguish the burning on his face with the cool night air in the process. He didn't pay much attention to where he was going, but kept inside the firelight so as not to get lost. Approaching a fire on the outer ring, he opened his arms and let the tinder drywood fall into the flames. The fire accepted and rose to consume the offering, giving him a glimpse deeper into what lurked in the darkness beyond. First he saw the eyes, and as the light grew the greenish-gray skin and malevolent smile. A rotted pelt hid its groin, the only clothing it wore. In its right hand was a crude hatchet made of stone lashed to a stick. Tim didn't want to imagine where the sinew was that held the two together. What has we nows? A juicy young one's, is it?" Tim took a step back, but the goblin moved like a blur, fading into the darkness. "Oh, no. It shouldn't be movings, it should be quiets and stills. Its flesh be tenders and its bones be crunchy. It should be quiets until we can brings it back. Then we can enjoy its screams as well." Tim couldn't see it, but he could hear it and knew it was coming closer. The light from the fire danced through the trees, and the goblin mirrored the dancing shadows. Tim felt naked without his hoe, forgotten against a log as he walked away from the wagons. He was so embarrassed at the time, but now he just felt stupid and scared. Crunches and tenders. The goblin continued to mock. If he ran, the goblin might charge, but if he stayed still, the goblin would be upon him any time now. Crunches and tenders. Terrified, he grabbed the first thing he could reach, a brand from the fire. The pile of burning sticks collapsed and spread out before him. Where he had seen one goblin, now there were 5, all far too close for his liking. His heartbeat hammered in his chest, driven by fear and panic. But he brandished the burning wood in front of himself anyway. He knew he looked ridiculous, no armor and no weapon. He was a little kid with a stick about to be dinner. He could almost hear himself screaming as the goblins feasted on his flesh and broke his bones, writhing in agony as they licked their lips and fed on his terror. A whistle passed his ear and one of the goblins screamed. Another and another. Wooden shafts with falcon feathers protruded from the goblin's chest, and black blood flowed freely from the wounds. Baugh seemed to form out of the shadows, his sword cleaving an ugly green head from its shoulders. "Your whole farm, boy." A shock of red hair and murderous brown eyes, tossing him the farm tool before letting fly with another arrow. Tim picked it up as a third goblin dropped. Tim swung with all his might, catching the fourth in the chest and ripping its black heart and lungs free of its body. Baugh caught the fifth with his sword, catching the bone of its shoulder and lodging deep. Baugh tried to yank the weapon free, but the blade had sunk deeper. Furiously, Baugh swung side to side, up and down. The goblin jerked and screamed in every direction like a macabre puppet at a circus of slaughter. Tim hooked the goblin's head between the hoe and the shaft before pulling it free from the warrior's sword, breaking its neck in the process. It spasmed on the ground like a fish out of water before finally coming to rest in a heap on the ground. Baugh looked from the corpse to his sword, then met Tim's eyes with a disapproving glare. "You were supposed to stay with the wagons." "I thought I was supposed to be a warrior." "I didn't say you would. It is your choice to make. While you are choosing, you're supposed to remain safe. And I'm not safe near you." Tim countered. "By all means, if you would like to summon more greenskins, keep shouting at each other." Both eyes turned toward the red-haired woman, casually plucking her arrows from the corpses and inspecting each for damage. "Where did you come from?" Baugh growled. "She's with the Caravan." Tim defended. "Am I, though?" She offered slyly, shooting them both a look over her shoulder. "Whom do you serve?" Baugh challenged. "Myself, of course," she cooed. With a snap, her bow and quiver were gone, replaced by an apple. "Deidre. I serve no god or goddess." She balked. "Did you give her your name, boy?" He didn't, and he didn't eat the fey food either due to these vermin. She let out a savage kick that flung a goblin's head into the trees. "Maeve is what you can call me, and yes, I am drawn to the farm boy. In his fields I can grow safe and protected by his fences and gates, not out here where some oak can cut me down again. I intend to plant my roots in him." She shot Tim a come-hither look. "And he can plant his seed in me until the end of his days, unless that was what you were offering him." Tim blushed again and turned away. Baugh took on a look of utter disgust and spat. "Bloody Dryad."